showing you everything. And then we can have a Q&A at the very end. So please feel free to use the chat if you want to post questions during this presentation, just so we don't forget, or else just write down your questions. And at the very end, we're happy to go back to any part of the application form. We can discuss eligibility criteria, whatever you would like. Okay, so I am going to just go all the way across here to show you the landing page. So everyone can see the landing page here for Seedbed. Is that correct? Maybe someone can just give me a thumbs up if you can see everything. Chris, is working from your end, yeah? You can see the landing page? Yep. Okay, super, great. Okay, so to access the application form, so we have here information about the program itself, some information about the eligibility, terms and conditions, etc. And also, most importantly, the program timeline. So at the moment, the call is open until the 19th of February at 1600 hours CET. And that's going to be the deadline that is set for this application period. And then the program will kick off around May of 2024. So in terms of the application process, you can click on Apply Now here, and it'll bring you to the My EIT Food platform. If you've previously registered, meaning you've maybe applied before for an application, you'll be able to use the same login, and you'll be able to go ahead and access basically all the information. I just want to confirm, can everyone see the screen okay? Yeah? Yeah, it's in full screen. You can see everything, yeah? Okay, good, okay. Okay, good. Perfect, just wanted to make sure. So you'll be able to register here if you haven't used the platform before, and if you have used it before, you'll be able to use your login from last time. So this is for people that maybe applied for a different entrepreneurship program or another program at EIT Food. Normally we use the exact same platform every time. So if you are going to click register for the first time, just to explain that process, it'll look a little bit like this. There's just a small few steps. Okay, just give me 1 second. You can see a small few steps here that you have to fill in. So for example, I'm going to go back to my slides so I can show you properly. You'll be able to see this screen here, which is asking you for your email address. So you can type in your email address here, and then you click the next button. When you click the next button, it'll ask you for your first name, your last name. The email address that you entered in the previous screen will already come up here. And you can click the little checkbox here if you agree to our privacy policy, so we can process your data for GDPR reasons. You click next again, and then we have account name. So I ask here to use your organization name or your company name. If you don't yet have a company name, you can potentially make one up that might be unique. You select from the drop down the country, and if you have a website, not mandatory, you can add the website for your company if you wish. And then you click next once again, and then what will happen is you will receive an email, which is kind of like an email confirmation. That's a standard email you would get when you sign up for a new platform. And you can click that link to confirm your email address and that you wanted to register on the platform. It'll then take you to the same process here. So it'll take you to the same login that I just showed you a second. And it's going to ask you to probably set a password for your account. And once you set the password, then you're able to log in. Just like you see here, you can use your email address and you can use the password that you just set to be able to log into the platform. So that's just the registration process. When you click this button here, apply now, if you haven't yet registered on the My EIT Food platform, you can do so just following those brief number of steps there. And then you can click login. And when you click login, you're going to access the platform. Because you clicked the apply link on the Seedbed page, it's going to take you immediately to the Seedbed Program 2024 application form. But just wanted to make sure that you're aware there are a total of 4 programs that are available for different stages of startups. So if you go to home, you'll be able to see a little banner here that you can click on to go to that particular application form. This one is for Seedbed, which is kind of our entry-level program for very early stage startups, maybe even pre-revenue or pre-startup, still exploring the market. We have the Food Accelerator Network, called FAN for short, which is more for startups that are ready to engage with pilots with corporate partners. So they match you and connect you with corporate partners and provide you with the opportunity, but you must be ready already before you apply to have a working pilot ready prototype or a version of your product that's ready to engage. And you must be registered, I believe, is one of the criteria for this Food Accelerator Network program. And then we have Rising Food Stars, which is for scale-ups. So teams that really have hundreds, if not millions of revenue per year already, and are ready to enter into new markets across Europe. So it's for much later stage startups. And we also have a specific Food Accelerator Network program that's based in Latin America. It's specifically for teams based in Brazil. Okay, they're the 4 programs that we have. Today we'll be talking about Seedbed. You can click on this link and it will take you automatically. It's going to ask me to log in again, but it'll take you automatically to the call. Another way to view the different calls is by clicking on Open Calls in the tab at the very top. And you can see here Food Accelerator Network Brazil, Food Accelerator Network EU, Rising Food Stars, and the one we're looking at today, Seedbed Program 2024. All right. So what you will do, I have done this already, so I won't have to do this again. You can click Create Application. You just need to put in a name of the application, the proposal title. A very important point here, please use the company name or the startup name or the project name, whatever you have. So click the organization name as the proposal title. This makes it much easier for us to be able to track everything. Once you enter that, you click Create. So I've already done this. So I'm going to go to my applications here to be able to check everything. Before I do that, I just wanted to emphasize again, you see the application deadline is here. Just in case you forget when the deadline is. And this is here. We also have automated emails set up. So once you start an application, we'll remind you, I think it's 1, 7, and 30 days, maybe 1, 7, 15, and 30 days before the deadline. So we have automated emails just to remind you about when the deadline is appearing. So if you've already started an application like me, you can find all your applications here. And I'm just going to open up this one. I opened it up earlier just to make sure that everything was okay. The first part of the application form, there are 2 parts. The first part is the eligibility form. So you can't click next and you can't move on to the actual application form until you first double check that you're eligible for the program. There's some text here which you can read, which just talks a little bit about what Seedbed is. We can maybe go through that later on, but in short, it's for very early stage startups and entrepreneurs that are even still at the project level and maybe not yet at a startup level, that have a technology that's at least TRL 4, that's the technology readiness level 4, and that are looking to explore whether or not there's a market opportunity for their potential technology. So is there a potential for your technology to actually be sold on the market and to be potentially successful? So it's really a discovery program to see whether or not there's potential for your technology to be sold in the form of a business. There's a Google Drive link here, which links to our terms and conditions. If you copy and paste that, I'll just quickly show you. It just takes you to a Google Drive where you can read the full terms and conditions. If anyone's looking to go through that, you can, of all the different programs and all the important stuff there. Okay, so we just have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions. The first is that we only work with or accept applicants that are doing a science-based, innovative agri-tech or food tech product or solution, and that they should have a positive impact on the European agri-food system. There's a little information box for many of the questions, not just in the eligibility form, but also in the application form. So make sure to pay attention to that little information box. It sometimes provides additional information to help you kind of guide what kind of answer we're looking for. In this case, we're just explaining a little bit better in more detail what we're looking for in terms of the type of applicants for Seedbed. So it's a yes, no answer. So if you are doing a science-based innovative agri-tech or food tech product or a solution, you can click yes. And the country then is also very important. So it's typically only European countries plus a few others that are on this list here. So you can find the full list here. There's also listed within our terms and conditions, which you can find in this link right here if you need it. Then we have the next question, which is the technology readiness level. So as it specifies here, the minimum is TRL 4. and there's a definition for each of them here. So we accept 4 to 9, 4 being that the technology has been validated in the lab, that it actually works in a small scientific setting. The next level is, validated in a real environment, something like maybe a pilot test or something like that, all the way up to TRL 9. So 4 is the minimum. If you select 3, you'll get a message that appears that you're not eligible because, of course, we only accept a minimum of 4. So this message here just tells you if you're not eligible, either because your TRL is too low or you don't meet the other criteria, it just references the other 2 programs that you might want to check. And you can do that by clicking on the Open Calls tab, which is at the top here. Okay, so I'm going to pretend I'm TRL 4. And then we have question because we're really just looking for, we don't necessarily focus on getting teams funded or helping to introduce them to corporate clients for pilots, etc. It's really about validating the market. So we have a question here to make sure that you're really looking to assess who is your customer and which market might be the best opportunity for you in Europe. So we click yes if you are looking to help validate the market and you're looking for support in a kind of a structured process to do that. That's exactly what Seedbed offers. Also then in current revenue from customers, this is not funding or investment, it's paid money that's in your company account, in your bank account for the startup's bank account. We don't accept teams that have revenue, so you must select 0 if you would like to apply for the Seedbed program. If you have 50K or more, then most likely you're more suitable for the Food Accelerator network, and you can go to Open Calls and you can have a look there at the criteria and the availability there. Okay, so if you meet all that criteria, it'll say congratulations, you're eligible. We just ask you to click I accept here. This is just a general commitment to what we expect on the program. So it's approximately 4 to 6 months of a program, and there's about a minimum of 8 hours expected. Most of that time should be spent with you discussing with customers, exploring the problem space and being able to assess if the market is something that would be interesting for your business and technology. Okay, and one important point here is after you've completed the eligibility form, we don't recommend that you go back, because if you make changes in this form, it can actually result in deleting data in the rest of the application form. So once you've finished the application form, once you finish the eligibility form, you can click next, but we don't recommend that you go backwards and try to make changes to your eligibility form later, because this can cause a technical problem where the rest of the data in the later application form could be deleted. So you can always go back and forward here at the end of each section of the application form. And like I said, I don't recommend that you go previous to the eligibility form just to avoid potential problems there. Okay, I'm just going to guide you through very quickly. I'm not going to go through every question. There are limits set here. So for example, year of birth should be in the format like 1990, like YYYY. So it's a maximum of 4 characters. You can select your gender, your nationality. I'm just going to quickly run through this. We'd love to know how we heard about you or how you heard about us. So whether you were referenced from a partner or a scouting team, or whether you heard about us from another alumni, etc., you can specify that. If you did hear about us from an event, such as this event, or from a scout, we'd love you to specify here who you heard us from or what event you attended. If you've participated in previous programs, we'd love to know. And here you can specify the different EIT food programs that you may have joined in the past, if you had. If you did not join any of these programs in the past, it's no problem. You can just click NA. So all of these questions are mandatory, so you do require an answer, but you can click NA if it's not applicable. We'd love to know also if you've been involved with any other incubator or accelerator programs in the past, currently, or potentially during the same period as Seedbed 2024. We would like to know here if you're planning to join anything. And this is an important question as well. So for many of you that are maybe still studying or working in a university or a research center, we would love to know where you're currently studying or working. If that's where you're potentially building either in parallel or building with the university or the research center, your technical innovation. The same applies for companies. So if you're in a company already and you're developing the technical innovation within that company, using their resources or something like that, we would love you to specify here where you're actually coming from or where you're working right now. Okay, that's a brief bit of information in the beginning for about you. The next section then is about your company or about your team, depending on whether you're founded or not. So there's two options here for the first one. You can select if you're a registered company, and you must be a registered company in one of the EU member states or associated countries. You can check the terms and conditions for all those countries. If you don't have a registered company, also no problem. We accept mostly project teams that are not yet founded. That's no problem. So you can select whichever one is relevant for you. If you are a registered company, we need your VAT number just as kind of evidence and proof that you are a registered company. And if you're not, for this question for VAT, just type in NA. It's no problem. The year that your company or project team was founded, and usually we don't accept teams that are older than say 2 or 3 years approximately from founding. Maybe Chris can clarify that a little bit later, but we just want the year that you started this particular project or the year that your company was founded. If you have a founded company, the founding date or the founding year of the company is more important than when you started the project before it was founded. You have your official address here as well. The country of not where you're based, but the country where the company is based or the project is based. That's important for us to know as well. If you have a website, a LinkedIn, please include the links here. That would be fantastic for the evaluators to get a better understanding of who you are. We also have these tags here. So these tags are divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different sections. It's kind of how we assess the different technical or technology areas for all of the startups that apply for all of the programs. So you can click on this link here in the drive if you wish, and it will take you to a full PDF of the different application tags. If you want to have a look at what's available in each section, you can do so in the Google Drive. For these here, you can also type, for example, you can type in mass and only biomass appears. They are searchable, but you can check if any of these are relevant for your potential startup. If they're not relevant in this category of the tag, just click NA, it's no problem. Same for personalized nutrition. You can click whatever is relevant. You can also click multiple. You can click to select a total of up to 12 different keywords that are relevant for your potential startup, okay? So I'm just going to quickly move through the rest of them just so I have an answer for all of them. And just so I can move forward with the questions. Okay, that's about your company or team. Next then we have a couple of key questions on just the problem. So, you know, who is the potential customer and what is the big problem that you're solving with your technology? The limits here you can find in the little information box on the corner. So you'll be able to see here that we have up to 500 characters with spaces to answer this question around describing the food system problem that you're trying to solve. We also have some, I think there's no extra information there, but yeah, we just want to hear about who your potential customer might be and what is the problem that they have at the moment that your technology can help them with. We also have that innovation areas that you can select. Again, there's a Google Drive link here which lists all of them. It's similar to the tags, but there's, I think, only 16 of them. So you can just select up to 3 that are relevant for the broad category of where your startup is actually working in. So for example, targeted nutrition, agricultural biotech, for example, just select whatever is most relevant for your startup. And then similarly, if you want to see the character limits for any of the other text-based questions, just use the information cloud here, the I, and you'll be able to see some more information potentially about how to answer the question as well as the character limit. So here we're asking about the technology you're developing and yeah, as part of the solution that you're going to hopefully launch on the market. So this is a question more specifically about the tech that you're developing, not just how the customer will use it. And then the next question is a little bit more specific about the potential business applications. So we're trying to understand, is this really a unique and innovative technology that is very, very different than what's already available on the market? And in line with that, we want to know, like, who are your potential competitors that have similar technologies on the market and what makes you different? This is a very important question that most startups, most companies have to answer. It's okay if you don't have an answer for a very concrete answer for all of these questions. feel free to try your best. We understand that a lot of the people that are applying are very early stage, so it's okay if you don't have a confirmed answer for every single thing, but you should at least understand what are maybe some of the existing solutions that are on the market. You can do a quick Google search, or maybe you know because you're working in this industry already, and you should be able to understand what's unique about your technology compared to what's already out there. And we love a one sentence pitch as well, just to help the evaluators to be able to kind of better in a very, very short space understand your technology. Just excuse me for one. Sorry, I didn't want to cough on top of everyone. So we ask for like a very short one sentence pitch, and there's a little bit of a guide there, which you can check from Founders Institute one sentence pitch about the structure you could use for that one sentence pitch. But usually it's who's the customer, what's the problem, what's the benefit that you create with your technology, and what's the technology that you help them to create that benefit. Okay. Then we have a question on intellectual property rights. So this is quite important for Seedbed, as many of the startups that we work with are coming from the university. We need to make sure that you have either permission to use the intellectual property, or you yourself have ownership of the intellectual property, perhaps through a patent. So you can select if you have a patent or other IP rights, select whichever one is appropriate. If you selected other IP rights, we would love to know a little bit of a description about in 500 characters or less about what is that situation. So your specific unique situation for regarding IP. We have a second question to confirm here about whether you have legal permission to exploit it. So this is, again, very important for university-based teams. If you don't have all of this figured out yet, that's okay, because maybe you're super early stage and you haven't yet begun to discuss with the university, but we need to know at least where you're at right now. Okay. Excuse me, sorry, I'm coughing a lot today. And then we would have a question about your current IP situation. So just to know in a few written words, I think it's just 500 characters, what is the situation? Have you begun to speak with the research center or your technology transfer office at the university? We'd love to know if a patent is currently being filed, or if there's maybe multiple patents that are being filed, etc. So this is just a little bit of extra space where you can write some extra information to give us some context. So we like to be added this question in comparison to what we asked last year, because it helps the evaluators understand the context a little bit better. So feel free to explain your situation in a little bit more detail here regarding IP. And finally, then, if you have published something, or if you have some academic research that's been published based on your technology, it would be great to leave a link here to a publicly accessible version of your either the summary of the research or of the research paper, or the actual link to the article itself. That would be very, very useful for the evaluators. Just it helps us to do some kind of background checks and just to double check and understand your tech a little bit better as well. Okay. We're nearing the end now, but just maybe 3 more sections to go. This is the business model. We're well aware that at a very early stage, we're not expecting all these entrepreneurs and startups to really have a business model figured out already. There's no issue with that. We would just like you to kind of state where your thinking is at the moment about who your customer might be and how you might potentially make revenue. What we offer as part of the Seedbed program is to help you through a structured process figure out who the customers are, figure out if the problem is real or big enough, and to help you develop a business model. So that's actually what we offer. So don't get put off with these questions here, and feel free to just give your best answer at the moment. And the evaluators are aware that we're not expecting startups to have a defined business model at such an early stage. That's very reasonable. Okay, so this question here is just about who you think your customers are, and where you might be able to make money. So meaning, are you going to sell directly to your customers? Are you going to potentially sell a hardware product with a software product, or will it just be software on a subscription basis or a single purchase for the actual item? It depends on where your thinking is right now. Like I said, if you don't have all that figured out, it's okay, but you should have a general idea or a guess at who your customer is and how you might be able to potentially make money. We'd love to know if you've already completed a market discovery program. So meaning something like Seedbed, where you've done a customer discovery process, talking to customers about the problem space, talking to different customer segments from different industries to assess different markets. iCure is a very similar program in the UK that follows a similar structure to what Seedbed does, but there are a few others in Europe. So if you've done this already, we just would love to know, because it gives us a better understanding of the groundwork that you've already completed. And if you have completed one already, we would love to know what that program was. Just please let us know. Again, I'm just copy and pasting random text in here because these are all mandatory questions. But of course, for this question, we're looking for an answer either NA, if it's not applicable and haven't done a market discovery program, or the name of the program that you've done, such as iCure in the UK. Also, if you've talked to any customers yourself, maybe you've done this, because you already work in the industry, or you're doing research in collaboration with a potential customer who is sponsoring the research. We'd love to know, like, if you've had any contact with your customers already, either a survey, an interview, whatever. It would be good to know if you have anything planned as well for a potential pilot, etc. So just a snapshot. You don't have to have already spoken to customers. That's what we offer as part of Seedbed. But if you have done something, it's just good to know and to let the evaluators know how many customers you've spoken to, and if you have any plans that are kind of like already in place for pilots, etc. Okay. Next section then is how many founders are on your team. So if you're a solo founder, meaning there's just you, there's no one else that has equity in the company, or no one else that is involved with the project at the moment. It's just you as maybe a PhD student or a postdoc at university, and you have no co-founders, nothing. You select one, and then you can fill out your details. So you are most likely co-founder one or founder one. We need your name, your email address, your position within the team. I'm just going to fill in the blank details here so I don't get those errors. So your position could be something like CEO, head of business development, head of research, whatever your position may be. Again, if you haven't founded yet a company, don't overthink the position title. It's not super relevant, but we'd love to know what your focus is in terms of the project or the startup, right? Relevant experience. So this is very important. We just want to know if you've worked in the industry before at a corporate. Please let us know how many years and where you've worked. If you've done 10 years in research and you're the #1 person in the world for developing this technology, tell us that and give us the context of your academic background. Or if you've previously launched a startup or been involved with a startup, that's always very relevant. So just give us an idea for the first founder in the team, who you are and why you would be relevant in terms of the experience that you have for launching this potential company. And then your LinkedIn, very important. We'd love to have your LinkedIn profile as well. Okay, and if there's more than one person on your team, so if it's not just you and you have a co-founder, or you have 2 co-founders, or you have 3 co-founders. So if you have 3 co-founders, it's you plus 3 other people. That would mean a maximum of 4 founders that have equity in the company or are involved with the project. And then you have options for filling in founder number 2 details, same details again, but just for the second founder, for the third founder, and for the 4th founder. All right, so you can fill in those details based on the number of people that are in your founding team. This is not everyone that's involved with the startup, but the ones that are actually would potentially be founders, meaning they have equity in the company, or they already are a founder in the team in the actual company itself. Okay. Next section then is just on the funding and financials. I'm not going to go through this section in much detail, but this is an important section. It helps to give us a better understanding for the investment team that's part of EIT Food about what you're planning to do for the future and what type of needs you might have in terms of either public money or investment that you'd be seeking in the next couple of years. EIT Food does make investments directly in some startups as well. So first question is, what's your last funding round? It can be a public grant. It could be a pre-seed seed round, Series A or NA. If you haven't received any of them, we just would love to know what your previous round was in terms of funding. We'd love to know how much grant funding. That's only public money. So it's just public money at an EU or a country level. Don't include money here from investors such as angels or venture capital. We just want to know a broad range of how much public money you received. The next question is about how much investment you raised to date. This is not public money. This question only refers to money from private investors such as angels or venture capital. And we just love to know a range there if you've received investment already. We ask here about the business milestones. So what are your broad plans for what you want to do for the business for 2024? That could be moving from TRL 4 to developing the technology to TRL 5 or 6 or 7. It could be that you want to already launch the product, maybe do some pilots, whatever the case may be. So just give us a brief background here. You've got 1,000 characters, which is more than enough room, about what you kind of at a high level plan to hopefully build in terms of your business for next year. So it's not just on the technology, although it can be heavily related to the technology, depending on how much time you need to enter the market and launch your business. But just give us a brief idea here of what you plan to do with the business for next year. Again, you don't have to have it all figured out. Just give us your best estimate or guess of what you think you want to achieve for next year. And as I said, if you get in the program, we help you to define those milestones even with more detail and more clarity. Okay, and then a brief plan for what you plan for the next, idea, a few bullet points of what you plan for the next 3 years. Again, that's a very difficult question to answer, I know, but we want to know, are you planning to actually like launch the company and enter the market in the next 3 years? Or do you need 3 to 5 years of public grants to further develop the technology, because it's going to take you 5 to 10 years to have it ready and scalable technology to enter the market? So just gives us a picture of like what your plans might be at a very high level. It's pretty much a guess. We understand that, but just give us an idea of what you're thinking for the next 3 years. We'd love to know if you require any funding. We say this year, but we mean 2024. So if you think you need like 1 to 5 million in 2024, that's good to know. Or whatever the case may be. It could be 0 as well, depending on your situation. So let us know how much money you need this year and what you'll use that funding for. So that's a very good rule in general. Don't just say that you need 500,000 or 1 million, and make sure that it's clear what you'll use that money for. Most likely that might go towards helping to launch your product and building out the team, or most likely it'll be related to developing the technology further and maybe scaling your technology to be ready for the market. It depends on your situation. And then how much money you might need in the next 3 years. Like I said, some people in protein diversification and stuff, they need quite a lot of money for quite a long time before they're ready to go to market. So this just helps us to understand at a kind of a guess level what you think you might need to be able to get your business moving and progressing over the next 3 years. So just click whatever is relevant here. And again, just kind of what will be the use of that money over the next 3 years. Okay, so now we're on to the final section. Just excuse me for 1 second. I'm going to quickly check something here. Okay, sorry about that. I'm just getting over COVID, so still have that little bit of a cough. Okay, there's the pitch deck video that you can upload here, and we have some guidance here about how you can do that. Most importantly, this is optional. You do not have to make a pitch video if you do not want to. And the evaluators often find it very helpful. So if you have time and you're comfortable with making a video pitch about you and your team, more so than the technology, we would love to know a little bit more about you and the other founders that are involved with this project or startup. And of course, you can also show some slides if you wish about your technology and who your customers are, etc. It's completely optional. You do not have to make a video, but if you do, please make sure that it's a publicly accessible video link. So we had this problem in the call that we did for earlier this year, that people uploaded Google Drive folder links and also YouTube links that were private. We don't have capacity to chase individual applicants and ask them to open up a file. We received well over 300 applicants across the 4 programs. There'll be well over a couple of thousand or well over 1,000. We won't have time and we won't know there's a problem until we go to the evaluation phase and we realize that someone has uploaded a private link that the evaluators can't access. So I give you instructions here for Google Drive, how to make it a publicly accessible video link. And I also give you instructions about how to do this for YouTube. If you want to use YouTube, you don't have to upload it to be listed and searchable on the YouTube website. You can mark it as unlisted, and therefore anyone with the link can still be able to see it, but they have to have the link to see the video. That's the most important. We just do not have the capacity to follow up with you if you make the link private, because we have unfortunately so many applicants to deal with. So please just make sure that after you upload it here, you can do on the computer, you can go to a private browser on Google Chrome, for example, and you can insert the link to test if you're able to access the link publicly. So please make sure you double check that. I highly recommend making a video pitch. It is a little bit of extra work and it is tough. But if you have the time, like I said, it's not so much about your company, it's more about you and your motivation for joining the program. So we want to kind of understand the team and the founders a bit better. If you have time, great, do that. What is mandatory is a PDF version of your pitch deck. So we've provided a detailed guide here. So this is kind of a standard within the startup world. It's usually a 10 to 20 slide pitch deck, which goes through some basic things that you know about your company already. Some of this stuff you will not know. So you may not know your revenue model yet. You may not know exactly who your customer is. We're just looking for the level of information that you have available right now. And like I said, provide your best guess and give us a good understanding of where the technology is at the moment, whether you're at TRL 4 or 5 and what that means. We even provide you with a template. So Chris and the rest of the team put together a template here in the Google Drive. And if you go here, it's a publicly accessible link and you can actually look at the PDF. Sorry, not even a PDF, it's actually a Google Slides link. And you'll be able to walk through. You don't have to put in all of these slides. These are just a recommendation. If you want to use your own slide deck, your own design, it's no problem. But for anyone that is just struggling and maybe hasn't done a pitch deck before, this just provides you some template. You can download this and then use it in Microsoft PowerPoint, or you can also just use it and make a copy of this in Google Slides, and you'd be able to edit this to be able to, add some slides on competition, etc. So this is just an overview of the different slides that we could expect, but you have freedom to be able to insert whatever you wish. Okay, let me just close some of these. Great. And then again, we give some other guidance here that you can also consider. These are some things that are very important to add. So we really want to know what you think the customer problem is. We would love to see images of your technology or solution. Super important. Don't just talk about the technology in the application form. This is your chance to show us what your prototype looks like. Show us a design of what it will look like when you build it. Visualization is very important for the evaluators to kind of get the context of your technology. It would be great to know how customers currently solve the problem. So obviously they're solving that problem somehow at the moment before they use your solution. So it'd be good to know like what's the current context and the potential market size. If you can do some quick analysis to know like how many customers there might be in the world or in Germany or wherever you're based, who might actually pay for it. And then the team, that's really, really important as well. So we'd love to know more about pictures of everyone that's involved. So we recommend PDF only and 25 megabytes max, please. So it needs to be in PDF format and it needs to be 25 megabytes max. We're very strict on this. If you upload a Word document just with text, we will not accept it and your application will not be eligible. So we had that issue in the previous call. But we need a visual pitch deck similar to the template that we just showed you. If you upload just an image with no pitch deck, that's also not going to be eligible. So please make sure that you upload kind of something similar to a standard startup pitch deck in a PDF format. Otherwise, it makes it very, very difficult for the evaluators to be able to evaluate it. So this is one of our criteria for accepting your application form. If you don't upload a PDF of your pitch deck, then we can't evaluate your form. All right. So to upload that pitch deck, so the link, if you wish, it's optional for the pitch deck video, can just go here. To upload your pitch deck, you have to go to Supporting Files tab over here. And here you'll see Upload Files. You can click on this, and then basically there's a few different options there to be able to select the file on your computer when you have it ready in PDF format, 25 megabytes max, and you'll be able to upload there. Once you upload it, you'll see the file appear here. It just takes a second to load all the way on the thing. And then we ask you a question here just to confirm that you've already uploaded the deck. Click yes if you've already uploaded the file. And then we just have a series of questions here. These are just kind of checkbox questions to make sure that you're aware of our privacy policy, etc. You just click yes to all of these if you agree. You can also read the privacy policy here if you want to get more details. Same here for the terms and conditions. We need you to accept the terms and conditions. And then when you're ready, you go to the very, very top. So once you've uploaded here your file for the pitch deck, and you've answered all the questions that are required, you can click the Submit Proposal button. And then what will happen is it'll ask you just to confirm. If you haven't filled in some of the mandatory questions, you'll be alerted here. So if I didn't fill in some of the mandatory questions, it would actually tell me, hey, Alan, in About You section, you didn't answer this question, this question, this question. Please go back and fill in the answers for those questions before you can submit. All right. But if you are ready to submit, you can go ahead and click submit, and your proposal will be finished. If you need to go back at any point, as I said earlier, you have previous and next here. So you can go to previous, and this is the section on funding and financials. If you click again, you go back to team, click again, you go back to business model, and you can go all the way back to About You. Like I said, please do not go back all the way past About You to the eligibility form, because if you make changes to the eligibility form after putting in all this hard work for the rest of the application form, there's a possibility that it could delete the data. So please do not click previous after you've finished the eligibility form. So don't go back beyond About You. If you need to, you can also click download. And what you can do is you can download a Word version of your application form. And that will have also the little information clouds here. So if you prefer, you can actually do this at the very beginning, and you can, fill in the application form in Word. The character limits will be set and specified under each of the questions. And if you prefer, you can prepare everything in Word and then copy it across to the application form in the end. We do not accept PDF or Word versions of the application form itself. Everything must be completed in the platform that I'm showing you now. But if you prefer over Christmas or whatever to work in the Word format, then you can just use that downloaded file before you even fill in anything on the application form. And you can take a look at all the questions and you can fill it in, maybe even use Google Docs, for example, if you want to have input from multiple people on your team. All right. That's pretty much everything from my end. The only important point is if you struggle at any point with any technical or any program specific questions, you can click Contact EIT Food up here or within the actual application form. This one's probably best. This is going to be updated. So at the moment you can comment here and you can comment in the bottom. So there will be an update tomorrow, which removes the multiple options. They do the same thing. So we just, for some reason, they appear twice. So if you want to contact support, you can type support, should come up here, or it's EIT Food. Okay, I forgot the, okay, here it is. EIT Food Help. So you can do at EIT Food Help. I have a problem. I cannot do X, please help. You can just submit a comment like that. And then once you tag at EIT Food Help, they will receive the information, and then our technical team will be able to help you. Same if you have a problem with understanding the eligibility criteria or some condition to do with Seedbed, you can also comment here and we'll be able to give you any feedback that you need. And generally, if it's serious and if you need a conversation with one of the scouts from Seedbed, we can also arrange a call with you to have a one-on-one. But that is pretty much everything. just so you note, after you've submitted your proposal, you will not be able to edit the application form. In exceptional cases where you've submitted by accident and you need to make a change or whatever, please make sure to enter a comment here and request support. And the only way to open up the application form again, if it's before the deadline of February 19th, is to contact the support team here at EIT Food Help. And then if possible, we'll be able to manually make some changes to your application form if needed, but that's only really in exceptional circumstances. So please don't click submit until you're absolutely ready to go. That's pretty much it. The only other criteria that's very important is you can only apply for one of the 4 programs that we have. Meaning, if you go back here, we have 4 programs that are available. Every startup can only apply for one of these 4. You cannot apply for Food Accelerator Network and Seedbed. It's not permitted. Same within Seedbed or any of these programs, you can submit more than one application per startup or per person for Seedbed. Okay, so for Seedbed, you can only submit one application for your particular project or startup. Okay, I'm going to stop there. That was enough, I think, a full hour. But I wanted to make sure that it was clear at least exactly what you're going to do. I'd open up the floor to questions. Maybe there's already 1 or 2 in the comments. I'll just quickly check and see. I know there was one about eligibility. So there was one question about whether or not the steps will be saved automatically. Yes, there is an autosave function built in to the application process. So as long as you click outside the question after you've entered the answer, it will do an autosave. What this means is, so if I'm on the eligibility form here, for example, if I click no, I'm technically now not eligible. But as you can see, nothing changes because I have to click outside the question and then it'll automatically update. This is an autosave. Okay. So if you answer one of the questions, just you want to make sure it's saved, just make sure you click outside the question and then autosave will work. It's the exact same if you're answering some text-based questions here. So if you answer an answer here with the text-based questions, if I close the window now, because the blue box is still around here, this won't be saved. But if I click outside it, then the autosave will make sure that that text is saved. All right, so I hope that answers the question. Paul, this program that I mentioned called iCure is, that's the program right there. iCure is actually kind of the foundational program upon which Seedbed was built. So there's a series of universities in the UK called Set Squared, and they do a similar program, but of course it's more generic on deep tech. And Seedbed does, a European level program focused specifically on agri-food. Yeah. Okay, great. Any more questions? Feel free to raise your hand. You can also just talk if you have any questions. I want to make sure there was something on eligibility.
Sorry. Sorry. I have a question regarding the TRL4. How do I prove that I am a TRL4? There are some rules, so something that I have to show to you just to, prove that I am at the 4 level. Some basic rules, something that I must have in mind when applying, just to prove that I am at this type of level.
Yeah, we would like as much evidence as possible. So if there is a published paper or if there is some publication on your university website or something, that would be fantastic for you to include. So I'm just going to go to the next section here, where we talk about kind of the IP section. So if you have any evidence here, and I know this is a question about IP and not TRL, but please provide as much information as possible, probably in this section here. So so please describe the technology you're using in developing as part of your solution. So in this question, we would love you to specify like what experiments or whatever you have done that will prove that you have TRL4. And sometimes this is difficult to do. This is why you have an option within the pitch deck as well. So the PDF of the pitch deck that you have to upload. We would also like to see images, if you have images of what you've built. or if you have designs of the technology that you plan to build, we would like to have as much of that information visually within the pitch deck as well as within this question here. The more information, the better, because if the evaluators are in doubt of whether or not you actually have TRL4, then this could potentially be an issue for the evaluation process. Chrissa, would there be anything else from your side on that, or is that okay regarding the proof for TRL4?
Yes, Alan, it is a really, tough questions, and I don't know what type of evidence, right, you can really upload, but as long as you convince the reviewers that your technology is working on a lab scale, because as Alan said, maybe you have performed these experiments and the results were positive, then we will take your word that you are a TRL4, but please make sure that you describe why you feel that you are a TRL4, and it's not just a statement.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Luca. Appreciate it.
There's also, Alan, I see another question about solo participants, for example.
Oh, yeah.
If you would like to answer that.
Yeah, solo participants are no problem. Usually what we say, if it is a solo participant within a university setting, we would love if your TTO, the Technology Transfer Office, or someone could be on board with you to be able to support you as part of the program, either just in terms of clarifying the IP and the technology transfer aspect of developing the technology within university, or if they can actually be engaged with the program a little bit, that would be fantastic. But at the core, a solo founder or a team, I believe is no problem. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Chrissa, but I believe it's okay to have solos, right? Or
It is
there's a
okay,
preference
right?
for team, yeah.
Yes, this is not a hard eligibility, criterion. Ideally, you should be two in order to be able to share the workload. If you come from within a university, then you have to have the support of your TTO as the second member of the team. If you are outside the university and you are a solo, then, or if you're a registered startup and you are a solo, then it becomes, more complicated, right? Because there's always a question, why are you on your own and you have not at least one co-founder? So it's not ideal, but there were cases where we had solo